Okay. Okay, so let's start again. Okay, let's start. So, any questions regarding the previous part? Okay, so in this second part of the course, of the lecture, we'll go over the course information. So the idea is that everything that is relevant for the course you can find on Canvas. So if you go on Canvas, that's more or less what you see. And there is the list of, yeah, you should be able to see everything that is relevant for the course on Canvas. But let's go through the various parts of the course here. So first of all, the aims of the course is to, well, you should learn how to formulate and understand and formulate and analyze useful simulation models for complex systems. Then you should, yeah, it should give you the tools to study complex systems and additional experience also in programming and group work. So interacting with other people. Obviously, we assume that you already know how to program in some language. So it's not a programming course. Any questions about this? Okay, the learning objectives are essentially connected to this one. So you will learn the fundamental ideas behind the simulation methods, implement how to implement simulations in code, and how to analyze the results of the simulation. So it's not only about making simulations, but also about being able to interpret the results to solve a real problem. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So the course methods, which is probably the most relevant part. So we will have three things. First of all, we will have lectures. Not like this one. This is more an introduction. So the following lectures will be given by ICUT and will be about different, let's say, topics and simulation techniques. Okay. And then we will have homeworks. So you will have 4 homeworks, which you have to do. And we'll see that in a moment. But this should provide, and these are individual, so that you get some hands-on experience on how to simulate complex systems. And finally, you will have a group project. And this is nice because, well, you have to work with other people. So you also learn teamwork and you need to, well, solve a problem in depth, not just approximately. It's not a guided problem. It's something that you have to come up with and solve. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the various points. So the lectures, well, you will see in a moment on Canvas, but the lectures are highlighted with red, and lecture 1, 2, 3, and you see that we will have lectures with so from next lecture you will have 2 hours on which you cover 2 different topics corresponding to different chapters, 1, 2, 3, and so on. The chapters are given in the materials. We will see that in a moment. I will show you the actual Canvas. And here we suggest you some additional reading, which are not compulsory, but these are typically articles that go in depth in some aspects that might be interesting for the ones of you who are interested to read. Okay. And this is the full list of lectures. And if you go to files, you will find, well, the files corresponding to each one of the lectures. The idea is that you should read these things in advance before the lecture. And by the way, the chapter are also what you use for the homeworks. So you have to read it anyway. Okay, is this clear? Yeah, okay.
Where will the Zoom recordings be uploaded?
It will be uploaded in YouTube, and we will put a link on the syllabus. Okay, other questions? Okay, so this is about the lectures. Then we have the homeworks, and here it's very important because the homeworks are 50% of the grade. Okay. Again, you go to Canvas in assignment, you will find this, and then you have 4 homeworks, and each of the 4 homeworks corresponds to 4 different chapters. Okay. Just to clarify, you have to do only one of these, not all of them. Just you can choose one and do only one. And in that one, you do only, well, you can do everything if you want. But for the homework, you have to do only the exercises that are marked here. And for each exercise or part of exercise, you see how many points you get. Is this clear? And these are the homeworks. So this is 4 homeworks, 25 points per homework. And you need to get at least 10 points in each of the homeworks to pass. Is this clear or not? Okay, so maybe, and in the Canvas, you see that homeworks are under the heading exercise, and you see that you have, well, you have essentially exercise for help and then exercise for correction. In correction, you have to correct the homework. And yeah, this will be about homework 1, chapter 1 to 4. And you can also ask things about the next homework, chapter 5 to 8. Is this more or less clear? I can, 1 second. Okay, so you have a question?
We both presented during the lab hours and added in on Canvas.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I saw this in the previous slide. You should you submit your answers to Canvas and present them during your lab hours.
Okay, so you have submission. The submission is you submit whatever you want. In the sense, we are not going to evaluate the submission. I guess you will have to do the homework, so you will have some flaws or something, just put them in a file and submit it as a PDF. This is not going to be evaluated. But what is going to be evaluated is what you present interactively, one-to-one, with a teaching assistant. Is this clear? So just to clarify, okay. So to clarify how this will work, you will receive a message, not a message, but email or whatever comes from Canvas with a link to a doodle that will be on Friday morning this week for registering for the homework correction next week. In that doodle, you have to register for a time slot and for a specific homework amongst these 3, or these 4, sorry. So for example, you can say I want to do homework corresponding to chapter 2 at 10:30, if the time slot and that homework is free. It's first come, first served. So the sooner you do it, the more likely that you can choose what you want to do. So choose carefully, okay? And that will be on, the message will go out on Friday at 8 a.m. because it will be automatized. Okay, for this week, and then next week, Friday, 8 a.m. will be the message for the next week, and so on. Is this clear? Then, in this time slot, you come and you will sit down with one of the teaching assistants or via Zoom with one of the teaching assistants and discuss your homework. So you have to show essentially that you have what you have done in all of this. They might ask you a question, you need to be able to discuss, you have to share your code and demonstrate that you actually understood everything in the details. So it's really like a 5-10 minutes conversation with a teaching assistant. You need to have everything ready. So you will not have time to run code, to debug code, it needs to work. No, actually, it doesn't need to work, it needs to be a ready run. So you need to have the final result ready to show. Okay, there was a question over there.
Yeah.
And then
That so that's 40 points minimum in total, 10 points per homework, right? So there are 4 homeworks.
there are 100 points in total.
What's the minimum points to pass?
In each homework, you can get 25 points.
Yeah.
So 100 points maximum in total. For each homework, you need to get 10 points.
Okay.
If you get less than 10 points in one single homework, you don't pass the course. But it's very easy to get 10 points. It means that you tried, essentially. It's really not getting 10 points in one of these homework is a choice. Just a second, there was someone there. Yeah.
Two questions. We need to present them for each exercise, or do we present them one in one?
You have 4 options. Each option corresponds to one chapter of the book of the course. And if you choose option 2, then you have all these exercises. But they are simple exercises, as you will see.
And is there difficulty levels on the options? Do they differ?
We tried to make them equally difficult, but they are not the same. Ideally, what we would like you to do is to read the 4 chapters and then choose one of them.
Choose the one you're interested in.
Yeah,
That will be.
the difficulty should be very close, but depends on what you know already. Difficulty is very subjective. We try to adjust them in a way that they are all similarly big.
But it's important you don't complete homework before you see that you can book a chapter presentation. Because it will be limited number of slots for each chapter, so that not everybody is doing it the same chapter.
Yeah.
So that you may end up getting disappointed. You have completed a homework chapter, but you cannot present it. You have to choose another one.
So let's look at the canvas in real life. So here you see lecture 1. So this week on Thursday, you have an help session. So ideally, you should have read chapter 1 to 4 by this Thursday. So you have an idea what they are, and you have an idea which one you would like to solve. So on Friday morning, when you get the message that the doodle is out at 8 a.m., you book immediately what you want. Is this is our idea how you should do things. And then next Thursday, on the 11th of November, there is the correction. You will have booked a time, you correct your homework, but before that, you should also, or during the day, you should also read the next 4 chapters and choose which one you want to do next. So that next Friday, 12th of November, you can book the next one as you like. Is this clear? Okay, good. And just to give you an idea, how can you switch off the sound? There is some, I hear myself. Okay, to give you an idea how the chapters look like, I will show you. So just to be clear, for many years, students have complained before, if any of you knows about the previous years, you know that we had only 4 homeworks and they were the same for everyone. If you don't know, now you know. So that was how it was organized, and this was not liked by the students for valid reasons. And the valid reason were that this didn't give an overview of all the techniques of simulation of complex systems. So you had a very limited list of topics that you could look into and learn about. So this was a reasonable complaint. It was there for many years. So what we did, since there is no book until now on simulation of complex systems with ICUT and INES, what we did was to actually write it. So this is an effort of several years in which we tried to make a book in which you have different chapters that cover all the different topics. So by reading it, you should be able to have an overview of all the field. And also you can do homeworks that are more interesting for you. So for example, the first 4 would be molecular dynamics, teaching model, forest fire, and game of life. Okay, so this is what you should read now. Each one of this one it's a very short chapter in reality. So if you see this one, it's like 10 pages. So it's not, you see, that's it. So it's a very, this should not take you, to read this should not take you more than 1 hour maybe. And so the idea is that you read them all, and then you see which one is more interesting for you to solve for them. Okay. And also, you know, if you try to solve it a bit in advance, you can have an idea if something is particularly difficult for you. And then you can switch to a different one. So you don't really have to do something that you really hate. Okay. So this is the idea behind it. But you see, these are the chapters that you will get. You get them separated into different, so you see this is in model and so on. And you see that here you have all the material, and you have also, if you see here, for each chapter, you have sample code that is available in GitHub, where you can see sample code made in Python. You should not copy the sample code because, you know, I put and Agnese did it, so it will be them correcting it. They will know if you have copied their code. You should try to do it yourself, but you have an example to start with. Okay, so you really have all the tools for, and some of these are also with interactive demonstration where you can play with parameters and see what happens without any program. Okay. So the idea is that you play a bit with it, and then you choose one and do it. Yeah.
Are there constraints what programming languages?
No, we don't care. Whatever you want. I had people doing it in Excel. I don't advise doing it in Excel. But technically you can. You can do the game of life in Excel. It works actually. So not advised, but you typical ones are MATLAB, Python. We are not going to correct your code. So, and the important thing is that you don't have all the code. So the code that you get in GitHub is not everything you need anyway. But we want you not to use that code. So start from scratch and do it yourself. Again, I will notice otherwise. Okay, any questions about this? Is this clear? And you see, by the way, that the exercises that we mentioned there are sub-exercises. So they are very simple things. So it's very doable. So you see that you have like 6, 7 exercises, but in reality, some of these are just point A, point B of this exercise. So, yeah.
How many slots per homework?
48.
48?
Yes. I think so, because we are planning to have 5 people correcting, right? No, 4 people correcting. I don't remember. I think 4 or 5. We will have the point is this, we will have 8 hours of correction, and we want to have like 6 people per hour. So 48. This should not be too, this means that you have, I mean, the point is this, we assume that you will not all choose randomly the same homework. And again, the idea is that you should also try different homework so that there can be a discussion in class about different techniques. If everyone does the same homework, then it's not very interesting. Just to clarify on this, we are trying this, maybe in a following year, the alternative was to assign the homework ourselves to different students randomly, but we thought it would be better to just let you choose. Okay, other questions? And plus, I can tell you, you will not have any problem. If you immediately at 8 AM on Friday register, you will not have any problem in choosing the time slot and the homework you like. Of course, if you wait until the night before the correction, then it might be that some homeworks are not available anymore. Good. Any questions? Is this clear about the homeworks, how it works and everything?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You said that there's a help session for homework 1 on Thursday, but you also recommended that we not start with our homework until you register with other homework.
You can start with all homeworks you want, obviously. You cannot register. It's not that I recommended that you don't register, don't start. I'm just saying, don't read. have a look at them, see which one you want to do, and then register immediately as soon as you group one on before doing it for real. But you can try it out. See, again, I'm not forbidding you from trying to do all the homeworks and try all the exercises. It's very nice, very interesting if you're interested in the topic. So you could try to do all the homeworks. It's doable. I don't know. It's doable.
I would say we'll take a day effort
Per homework.
if you are not very familiar with the concept. If you're familiar with the concept of what that's. Yeah.
Per homework or per for homework? Okay, but you don't need to do everything. So, you know, just a second that I want to go back to the presentation. Okay, but so you can start trying things out. Maybe you can try a bit each of them and look at what you will have to do and decide which one is the most interesting and easy for you to do. That's fine. Okay, other questions? Anything unclear about the homework? And just to clarify, the classes will also be on these topics that are in the homework, so the corresponding chapters, but it's not that you need to attend the class. The idea is that you watch, they're not synchronized with the homeworks because they are more about the topic, not about how to solve the homework. So you don't need to watch the class before you do the homework. It doesn't hurt, I don't think it outside. It's just a separate thing.
But if you need help, there is help for each homework.
Yeah.
When you book your time, you can ask for help.
Because for the first homeworks, you will be able to see, well, actually, no, because the first class will start on Friday, but it's really not a problem. You don't need to wait for the classes before you choose the homework. That's the idea, at least. Okay, any questions? Okay, then, yeah, this is we already said. Then the group project. So, yeah, so the idea of the group project is that you develop a small project with a group of roughly 4 people. I say roughly because, you know, you're not necessarily divisible by 4. So it might be 3 or 5, some groups, but typically we would like to have 4 people groups. Okay. And so the idea here is that the project is about, I mean, you should come up with an idea for the project. Then here is which complex system you want to analyze. Don't think, I mean, the idea should be what problem you want to solve, not which system you want to simulate. You understand the difference? So going back to the example we made the previous hours about Stockholm traffic flow, the problem is how to optimize traffic in Stockholm. Not, I would like to simulate a traffic network. So try to find a problem, real life problem that you would like related to a complex system that you then simulate. So first thing that you will need to do in the project is to identify the, well, let's see first. Okay, I prefer to go to this slide first. So actually no. So I can tell you everything and then we look at the, it's not very well synchronized because I prefer to go on the actual canvas to show you these things. But I will explain you the general idea. So find a problem together with a group. Then you will have the opportunity to discuss this with your tutor, which is one of the teaching assistants, which will be assigned to your group. So you discuss what is the problem you want to address, what are the tools that you want to play with. And typically the discussion is about whether it's feasible, whether it's too easy, too difficult, often too difficult because overambitious, because you need to have something that you can actually do within this time frame. And then you will have a presentation, which will be a recorded presentation, 8 minutes, plus questions, and a written report, which represent respectively 30 and 70% of the grade. The presentation will be made at the end of the course on the 16th, 17th of December. It's written there. And as I said, it will be a 8-minute presentation and you will have questions from the audience. Okay. Each group will have, as I said, a tutor. You will meet with the tutor twice. First to discuss before you start, and then in the middle towards the end of your well, let's say 3/4 of your project to discuss your progress and how to finalize things. But that's a bit flexible, depends on each group what you would like to do. And each group will be also twinned with another group, so you have a review group. And that is really up to you how you organize it. My idea is that you should discuss relatively often. It's really up to you. And the review group will also have to ask, the two review groups will have to ask questions to each other during the presentation. Plus, everyone else in the audience can also ask questions. Is this clear? Okay, one novelty of this year is that the groups are not at random. Until now, the previous years it was always at random, but this year we decided to try not to do it at random, so you come up with the groups. The reason is mainly because there are many people that want to work completely online, people that don't, so it's better that you sort it out. So that's, plus we'll see how it goes. What does it mean practically? It means practically that you should come up with a group and let me know by the 5th, so by Friday, which group you are in. Each group is 4 people. It's clear? So you send me an email with your name, the name of your group mates, everyone is CC in the group, and you say we would like to be a group. And let me know also if you plan to work online or offline, or you want to, mainly because some of the tutors will be only able to meet groups via Zoom. So I need to know that. So I need to know who are the 4 people, everyone is CC, and whether you want to in person or Zoom or you don't care. Your preference. Okay. By the 5th. Everyone who doesn't give me a choice by the 5th will be put in a random group by me, obviously, because I need to have the groups finalized by the 5th. Okay? Yeah.
Your group of 5 friends, can be an exception to that.
5 is usually tends to be too large. I mean, if you want to suggest a group, it must be 4. Because if I start making exceptions to, then again, no. It might have be, if the point is this, you can tell me, look, we would like to be 5, and this person leave it. You have to give me 4 people. There will be extra people remaining. If that person remains, and I don't, and it makes sense for me to have a group of 5, because you know, your number might not be divisible by 4. Then I can put them in your group. But there is a risk that this person ends up in a random group. I cannot guarantee that.
Try to connect with 3 more and you have 2 groups.
Yeah. That's another option. Okay, anything unclear about this? Yeah.
December 17th is a Friday.
Sorry?
December 17th.
Sorry, 16. Yeah, that's sorry. What is written here doesn't count. What is written in canvas.
It's correct on Thomas.
I mean, this is 17 because last year it was 17. Sorry. And obviously escaped the revision. Any questions about this? So yeah, we can definitely, maybe we switch to Canvas so that I show you once more the activities on the.
Could I ask something?
Yes.
So is this course done by December 16th?
This course is not done by December. The course is basically done in the sense your presentation is done, but the report is due in January.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to go through the Canvas. So you see that project group will be announced on the 5th. This means that before the 5th, if you want to be in a group, you should send me an email. And I will reply to your email, not immediately, but within the day, most likely. If I don't reply, probably something went wrong with the email, so send me another email. Okay. To confirm, and I will create the group on Canvas, so you will see that. Then there is the project proposal. This is not really evaluated, so you know it's a deadline, but you should submit your project by mail to your tutor, and you can submit it also on Canvas. That will be best. Okay. It's not evaluated though. This is only, well, essentially for you to contact your tutor and to arrange the meeting which you discuss with your tutor. Again, these dates are not set in stone, it's flexible. But I suggest that you do it relatively soon. I also suggest that before choosing your project, you have a look at all the different topics of the course. So have a quick look at all the chapters that we give online. So you have a feeling for the breadth of possible possibilities that you can work with. Then you should submit a scheme of your report by the end of November, more or less. What does it mean, scheme? Whatever you want, whatever you have done, essentially, it's up to you. Each group can do whatever they think is best. But this is basically to force you to have something ready to discuss with your tutor at the beginning of December. So then you still have 1 or 2 weeks to finalize things and to prepare your final presentation, which is on the 16th of December. And the presentation needs to be submitted on Canvas. So the presentation is a file that we can play. And you can submit a draft project report. This is the draft project report that your tutor will check and give you feedback on. So how complete it is up to you. You can submit nothing if you want. It's not going to affect your grade, but it's going to affect the feedback you can get from your tutor. So the more advanced it is, the more useful feedback you get.
It's the same with the scheme. It's not graded.
Yeah, the scheme is also not graded. But then you have the presentation on the 16th, and you have the final report, which is the one that is going to be graded, which is submitted on the 9th of January. If you have it ready before, you can obviously submit it before, but you cannot submit it later. And this is done through Canvas. It's clear? Okay.
Just to check, both the presentation and the report are done as a group.
Yes.
Yes.
Is the presentation going to be a video and then the presentation?
Yes, it's a video, and you will be in the room watching the video, and then there is the live question in the room. Or some group, the one that work in Zoom, might join via Zoom. That's why we made a video, so that it's easier to. But everyone has to submit a video. You cannot do it in live. It worked very well last year, so we liked it.
Simply because no one can go and present for 20 minutes, and then we don't have time to.
You get penalized if you go over time. But you know, with a video, you know exactly what's the time of the video, so there is no risk. But if you send us a video of 10 minutes, we will cut it at 8 minutes and we'll penalize your grade. So don't do that. Okay, any more questions about the project and how it's organized? Yeah.
Just to clarify, the 8 minutes is the absolute maximum.
Yes, you can do it 2 minutes. Let's probably more. No. And it's fine because last year worked very well. 8 minutes is more than enough. There was
Does everybody in the group have to email this one person?
everybody in the group. Sorry.
Does everybody in the group have to email you, or is it?
It's okay, one person, obviously, but put the others of the group in CC, because in this way, I know that everyone knows. It's very important. If you don't put other people in CC, I will reply to you, please send me the mail again, putting everyone in CC. And if by the 5th this has not been done, you end up in the random groups. I was,
Is it possible to pass the course without doing the project?
I don't think so.
I mean, theoretically, I don't know.
I don't think so because
Chalmers, you know, but in the I don't
Wait.
know.
these are the grades.
I mean, theory,
You will have to do perfect homeworks, and we should double check in Canvas and in the course description that there is no minimum grade to pass the project.
I don't think we have something. No one has never thought of this before.
Can you check I got the Canvas? I think technically it's possible. I don't think there is anything that prevents you from passing the course if you do all the homework perfectly. And but then you get a minimum grade. And I have to double check. I'm not completely sure. If you have not written anywhere that you have to, but you know, it never happens like that.
Does everyone in the group get the same grade or are we in?
Okay, that's a typical question, and the answer is typically you will get the same grade, but we expect you, and this is graded, that you put a contribution part in the report. So you write what are the contribution of each, which can be as simple as everyone contributed equally or whatever, but it should be written. If you don't do that, you lose points. It's one of the criteria. And if someone in the group doesn't do anything at all, you can remove the person from the authors, and then this person doesn't get a grade for the work in the group. So this is definitely possible, and this has happened. And it's also possible to give different grades to different people in the group based on different level of contributions, but this should be very clearly stated in the contribution report. And just to be clear, maybe we had 2 or 3 people that were removed from groups last year because they really didn't participate at all. And I think we had only one case once that we get different grades to people in one group. So it's not typical, especially if you choose your own group, but it's possible. The grading will be individual. Yeah.
Can we also choose the review groups?
No, because you know that is not. Yeah, that would be a nightmare logistically for me. But no, it doesn't matter to the grade, and it doesn't really matter too much. But just if everyone tells me where they want to be with which group, then it becomes very difficult for me to organize. Because it's not only that each group has to have a review group, each group needs to have a tutor. So it's like 2 grids that cross each other. So it's not trivial to organize it. It might not sound so simple, but you know, if everyone starts choosing the review group, then I cannot organize in a way that each group has a review group and the review group has the same tutor. It just makes for things much easier for us in the final presentation if a series of group and the review group are with 2 tutors, not spread across different tutors. That's the reason. Okay, more questions? Okay, so how is this graded? So the group project, which corresponds to 50% of the grade, well, you have a presentation and the criteria are these ones, weighted essentially equally. And you see that the first criterion is the presentation was structured for 8 minutes. And this includes the fact that it's 8 minutes. If it's not if it's more than 8 minutes, then that criterion does not fulfilled automatically, and you get 0 on the point, which is like a 7th of the grade. I'm just telling that very clearly because, you know. Is there anything unclear about this criterion? And then for the report, which is 70% of the grade of the, 35% of the total grade, these are the criteria. And yeah, and you see that one of the points is contribution. So you need to have a part where you state clearly what are the contributions. Again, it doesn't need to be long. It can be just one line, say everyone contributed equally. Then we assume that everyone contributed equally. Or it can be very long if you want to say what each did, and that's also fine. But it must be there. Well, if you want to get that point. Yeah. And this is the grading for the report. Any questions about this?
Are there examples of presentations and reports?
No. And the reason is because we would have to have asked last year permission to share them. We might ask this year permission to share them. Okay, let's remember at the end of the course. You can ask students from the previous year to share with you privately. We cannot share them because we don't have, well, first of all, I don't think we have them.
We have them.
They're on Canvas, but we cannot share them, I guess. But this year we should ask permission.
But even if we share them, no group gets up to, almost no groups get absolutely 100 points from the project, so. You will have an idea what a good report is.
The point is this, what we ask in the Canvas, it's explicitly to write the report in the format of a journal article. So you can look at journal articles as a point of reference for how it should look like. That's probably the best. Because, you know, if we give you examples, they will have to be very good examples. And there were very good examples, but yeah, we cannot really share them. But again, you will present your idea first to your tutor, you will present the scheme, and you will present the draft. So if you try to have a draft that is very advanced, the tutor is able to give you all the feedback you need to improve it. So in that sense, you get enough opportunities to get feedback, plus the review group. Okay, any other questions? Okay, and yeah.
The course literature, is it available somewhere?
Yes.
It's set in the kind of lecture notes to require that.
Lecture notes.
They're on files, on Canvas files.
Yeah, if you go to Canvas,
Yeah, I can show here. Here. And then you go here, all of them are here. So you go to, for example, chapter 2, you can download it and then you can have a view.
yeah, you have all the notes there. I mean, we can call them chapters instead of lecture notes. Okay, and finally, this is the grading system, probably the most important slide. If you want to know how your grade is calculated, you see that you need 100 points to pass. And then in Chalmers, 140 to get 4, and 180 points to get 5. And in GU, you get the G with 100 points and VG with 160 points. Yeah.
Is there any research groups or maybe with you guys or tutors for master thesis? And if so, is the grade relevant?
I didn't understand the question.
Because for our previous course in the last study period, the lab that organizes the master's thesis, the professor looked at the grades for the course. See if they want to tutor for master's thesis. So I'm just wondering if the grade in this course is relevant if anyone wants to take master's thesis.
You know, essentially, basically, all the tutors in this course will be from my group. So if you're interested in doing a master thesis with me and my group, of course, it would be nice that you do well in this. I'm not saying that it's a precondition, but it's a good thing to have a good grade in this course because I mean, you know, if you work seriously on this course, you are going to get a good grade. And you are going to, it's not a difficult course. It might be intense in terms of amount of material, but not difficult per se if you work on it. And if you don't get a good grade in this course, means that either you don't like this subject or it's not the ideal subject for you, then you probably don't want to do a master thesis in my group. So I don't see a problem either way. But again, it's not a precondition, and I'm not going to double check the grade that you get in this course. And I don't think other groups in the university will check specifically the grade you get in this course to accept you in a master thesis. Maybe they will check all the grades you have. I don't know. Okay, other questions? Okay, good. So, well, that concludes the introduction to the course. Is there anything unclear or any question? Yeah.
You don't think you could post it, do it on Thursday instead?
I can post it on Thursday. Why?
So I can choose my project before I start working. Well, how's like the lab session gonna be structured? I thought we were like supposed to work in the computer.
No, you can work wherever you want. You don't need to work in the computer room for the course. The lab session is basically me and the teaching assistant will be there. If you have questions for us, you come there. So it's,
you can connect with
You-
Zoom also.
sure, you can also connect via Zoom. So it's there is nothing structured, and it just if you have a question, you come and ask us.
Okay.
So I think it's better Friday because you can come ask us things and then choose exactly what you want to do.
Okay.
So, and of course, if you have questions about I see your point, but again, I don't expect everyone to choose the same. There is no real reason why you should. We will have 48 slots. We have 120 students, and we expect 90 students to actually work in the course. By statistics. So we have basically a lot of slots compared with the number of students. I don't expect everyone to choose the same homework because they're really, it's a question of taste mostly. The difficulty is very similar. We have tried to keep it very similar. I don't think everyone will like the same. It was different in some other course in which they were very in a different course, we had the experience in which we had the two homeworks, and one was clearly much more difficult than the other two. Two were very difficult, two were very simple. Everyone chose the very simple ones. Then, of course, you have a problem. But here, I don't expect problem. Plus, it's not a problem if it's not that if we finish the slot, we are going. If there is one or two people that want to do an homework, it's fine. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. We're not going to be very strict on that. Yeah.
Do we have access to like some computing resources from the university for the simulations?
I don't know. In the sense that whatever you have by standard, there is nothing specifically for this course. I guess you have access to the computer room and these things, right?
Okay, but there's not some like particularly powerful computer time you could.
No, and even if this is not a high power computer, it's not a high performance computing course, so you should not need you should not need any more than a laptop for all the simulation. If you need more than a laptop, means that either your algorithm implementation is very complex without need, or you're trying to do something beyond what is strictly needed for this course.
I mean, all the homework, like most of the animations made, they are sample codes on GitHub that is linked on the lectures. All of them were programmed on this little machine that is 11 inches, no GPU, 5 years old. It's perfectly fine. And it's able to run them real time without any problems.
The point is this: if you need the supercomputer power, probably you're not doing what you should do for this course. It's not expected, it's not needed, and most likely you are trying to do things in a way that is not optimal computation.
Just for the projects, you may need some larger long runtimes for more detailed research, but then you have weeks to, I mean, we don't expect you to run code for weeks, because then you're really wasting a lot of time. You can use it more efficiently for report presentation, other things. But if you really need to run something for long, then you can use days or the weekend to just run things for a long time.
Okay, any other questions?
Is code mandatory for all homework problems?
Sorry, is what?
Is code mandatory for all homework problems, or is mentioned in the problem?
I didn't understand it. What is one? Can you repeat the question?
Like, do I need to code for each homework problem, or it's mentioned in the homework problem that I need to code for this problem and submit them?
I mean, most of the exercises are numerical, so yeah.
You need to code for sure in all the homework. So
It's the simulation.
Yes.
So you have to code.
I'm thinking because no, I don't think there is any homework that you can do without coding, and we expect you to actually code your programs, not just download something and run it. And again, if you download from our website, we'll notice immediately because the people that wrote it are here. And if you get it from somewhere else, by experience, it really happened very, very seldom. There were like 2 or 3 cases in 4 years. So it's almost negligible, but there are some people that try to download the code and run it in front of us. You notice that. Because it takes you more time to learn and to understand the details of a code written by someone else than just to write it from scratch yourself. And we might ask you, what is that line? I mean, that's actually what they will do.
The point is that you need to be able to address what is this parameter in your simulation.
Yeah, what is A or F3 in your code? And if you have not written yourself, studying that takes more time than just writing the code. Okay, more questions? Okay, good. So